Knowledge is power. Information is key. And that is why we aim to unlock the doors of opinion, unveiling the stories that need to be told. Join Omobola Sandra and Sage Babalola on the Morning Express on Mainland 98.3 FM from 5 a.m. to 11 a.m. as we invoke the thought-provoking discussion, tackle the tough questions, challenge assumption, and give a voice to the unheard. This is the Morning Express on Mainland 98.3 FM.
Welcome on board the Morning Express.
Good morning.
Ladies and gentlemen, here it is, the most listened to radio show on the planet. Even the other stations are tuned in too.
Welcome to the Morning Express on Mainland 98.3 FM.
Yes, it's time for Trends in the Papers on Mainland 98.3 FM, the sound of Lagos. Time check right now is 7:41 a.m. It's time for us to look through the major trending stories on the front pages of our papers. And we have our papers here, The Punch, The Guardian, and Vanguard newspaper, of course, in no particular order. There's quite a lot for us to talk about this morning. But of course, the crux of it all is the petrol price hike. Everybody is feeling it one way or the other. You do not need to have a car for you to feel it, because one way or the other, it affects, consumables. It affects transport fare. It affects, how you move about. It affects the cost of commodities. All right. So it is a major issue at this time now. And at the back of it all is, of course, the CNG conversation. But of course, we're going to get deeper into it. The papers have all of these stories reported. But before then, my name is Omobola Sandra. I won't be doing this alone. I have Fᴜģᴜ who will join virtually to give in-depth analysis to the stories that we are going to be looking through this morning. But through it all, in the midst of everything, I hope that we are taking care of ourselves. In the course of the week, the world celebrated the World Mental Health Day, and it's very, very important for us to look out for each other. It's also very important for us to pay attention to our emotional intelligence. Everybody is going through something, all right? So if you can't be anything, be kind, all right? And if you can't be kind, just day your day, all right? Please don't try to compound what other people are going through. Everybody, you do not have monopoly of pain or hardship. We're all in this together. We're all going through it together. We're all buying petrol at the same price, except you're in another state, of course, and we're all buying bag of rice at the same price. We're all paying same transport fare. So it's just really unfair to everybody. So there's nobody that is we have to remove and say, oh no, this person and all of that. So please, let's be kind to each other. Let's be kind to ourselves. Let's do what we can to put a smile on someone's face. You don't have to spend money, but just a little bit of kindness will go a long way, or even a word of kindness, a word of encouragement. All right, you can just say something kind, something nice to someone, and just make them feel good. Very, very important. All right, so we, just as mentioned earlier, we'll be looking through the major stories on the front pages of our papers. We'll do that up until about 8:30. We'll take a short commercial break. By 8:40, we are back for Mainland Focus, and that's the part where you get to share your own thoughts, your own submission as regards the major stories that we'll be focusing on Mainland Focus. Good morning, Fouad. How are you doing?
Good morning, Sandra. I'm good. Very good. How are you doing?
I'm fine. I'm well. But, I'm just, let's not to cause any sort of panic and all of that. But I don't know. Have you seen a CNG car? A converted car? Have you seen one?
Yes, I've seen one or two.
Okay.
Just one or two, a number of them. But
what's the first thing that came to your mind? When you saw those gases at the back of the car. The cylinders, yes.
Of course, the first thing that comes to mind is we're not used to it. Really, it's not something we're very used to.
Okay.
So the first thing that comes to mind is safety standards, also understanding that we're not really a country where standards are regarded very important when it comes to safety. If you are not really a people of safety, if you understand what I'm saying. we take things for granted. We have people who don't really pay attention to details when it comes to safety standards. So, thinking that you have gas cylinders in your car, just somewhere in your car, can actually, create some sense of fear and panic and even anxiety.
Because we live in a country where people fry akara on the road, where people are roasting bully on the road. I mean, how do you think people are going to feel when you are in a bus and you can see this person frying akara beside you, and your car has gas cylinder? But anyways,
I think the CNG experts have said that if not liquefied natural gas, the possibility of explosion is not as high.
It's compressed natural gas. It's all right.
It's compressed natural gas, and that the cylinders are also fire tight. It's not something that can easily be penetrated by fire and what have you, now cause an explosion. But of course, we've also seen situations where CNG cylinders have also exploded, even in countries where it's the dominant source of energy for cars. But the reality is that there's still a lot that Nigeria will need to learn.
You mean orientation? There should be some sort of orientation to
orientation,
educate the people.
Standards,
okay.
The technology itself, the technical know-how to be able to convert vehicles if there are issues with the cylinders, if there are issues with the connections, the entire composition. And we are not even talking about buying vehicles that have been designed to use CNG. We are talking about conversion now. And whether you like it or not, experts can say whatever they want to say. Anything you convert, you have to actually pay attention to the original composition of the car, and then the new reality of the car, and then of course look at safety standards, technical know-how. There's a lot of questions you need to really answer, a lot of boxes you need to tick to be sure that local is well with what you've done.
Because just yesterday the conversation started around what it costs to ride in a CNG powered a vehicle. We have here somewhere in the Guardian newspaper. Yes, it was reported yesterday that a presidential aide has urged Nigerians to switch to compressed natural gas because it's a cheaper alternative to fuel following the recent price hike on PMS. And what reports are coming in that that WG, the special assistant to the president on social media, has claimed that a trip from Abuja to Lagos using CNG would cost 10,000 naira compared to unspecified cost using traditional fuel, saying that a PMS task has chances of exploding due to heat faster than a CNG tank ever would. So let's quickly, just very quickly now, talk about the cost of converting to a CNG vehicle. And not just that, there's also the question or conversation around the infrastructure available for people who are even interested in converting. I think so in the entire country we have less than 1,000, we have less than 500 stations that can actually convert, and we're talking
less than 50, Sandra. 1,000?
Less than 50 in the entire country. All right,
not 1,000, less than 50. According to the NMDPRA boss, Farouk Ahmed, said we have less than 50, stations, CNG stations in the country as we speak. And he made that statement like around June this year. So it was not like a year ago or 2 years ago. We're talking about just a statement he made about, just 2-3 months ago. And before we even go to the infrastructure that is needed, this is a presidential aid. I'm sure he also has a number of vehicles. I doubt if any of those vehicles are running on CNG. The man has given advice to Nigeria. I actually doubt if his own vehicles are running on CNG. I think you know now. Then let us start this way, Sandra.
Okay.
Leadership is supposed to lead by example, right? It would be nice to know in the presidential fleet and the entire presidency, how many vehicles are on CNG in that presidency? From the president to the vice president to everyone that holds an office, to ministers and cabinet ministers, special advisors, how many of them have vehicles running on CNG now? Or are they not supposed to lead by example?
That's the expectation.
Is the escalate? Look, just imagine the optics, Sandra. Just imagine how fascinating it will be for us to see that the president has already converted his Escali, that new one, to CNG, to show example to Nigerians. As part of the sacrifice they are also ready to make. Or they should not use CNG. It's only poor Nigerians that should use CNG. You don't understand what I'm saying, Sandra. If leadership is supposed to be people who are supposed to lead by example, let us know that, as a show of example to Nigerians, that we are also part of the, this revolution of moving to CNG, which is more affordable, all of these good things they are talking about CNG. Let us see that, look, they started converting their own vehicles too. Let us even see the president and vice president say, look, this is the cylinder at the back of our own car, or in the boot somewhere. Or they should not use CNG.
It's okay. It's all right. No, I mean, it's just as you have. It's just as you have, postulated for. The fact is that, or the truth is that, leadership is supposed to be by example. And let's at least see let's see one minister or one house,
all of them.
one rep member or a senator.
Start to convert all these their SUV. All the senators, they bought SUVs usually for them. Let them also convert their vehicles to. Let them lead by example. Start the revolution. The CNG revolution should start with them. That's one part of the conversation. The second part of the conversation, Sandra. This is the second part of the conversation. How much does it cost now to convert to CNG?
Now that's the crux here.
Let's begin the conversation.
Okay, so that's the thing, Fuad. That is where we are going actually with this conversation. How much is it to convert from the PMS vehicle or a PMS powered vehicle to a CNG vehicle? Now, it's away from safety advantage, because what this special aid is telling us is that Nigeria has more gas than crude oil. So the business of CNG is moving faster than anticipated. So we have more gas. So it should be something that's somewhat small.
And what is our level of investment in harnessing that gas, the natural gas resources? Does he know what we will need to put the infrastructure in place to harness the gas and then transform them from one state to another to compressed natural gas? Have we been able to do that? So we are supposed to jump the gun, put the cart before the horse. Why can't the government put the infrastructure in place first? Make the CNG stations available. As we speak, Sandra, the kits are not even readily available. Yes, the government said they are helping to subsidize kits to people who are ready to convert. But where are the kits? Where are the CNG stations? Because some of these guys are so ridiculous with some of their statements, and you understand why they make these statements, because they know Nigerians are not going to react. These are guys who are overfed, overpampered, overtaken care of. These are guys who practically do nothing in the presidency, if you understand what I'm saying, as special aides and advisors. What are they doing there? This number of special advisors and aides, who just have privilege, who have everything at their beck and call. They feed on the government, they eat on the government, they drink on government money, and they don't even understand what Nigerians are going through. And then they come up with some of these very ridiculous, insulting arguments because they think people don't have brains. The question is, what does it cost? Now they have talked that, the government is even ready to subsidize the conversion of vehicles. So we start another round of corruption and stealing of government resources in the name of subsidy for converting vehicles to CNG. Sandra.
All right, so I think we're getting to
As we speak today, the figure is that for you to convert your vehicle now, you have about 1.5 million naira.
This thing was about 400,000 some 2 years or so ago.
Because
it was about 400.
A year ago.
Yeah, about 400,000.
But of course, the reality of forex. We don't even manufacture the kits here. We have to import them.
So when Mr. Olusegun was saying that, we have gas in abundance, it shouldn't be a problem. It's not just about the availability of gas, but the infrastructure. Do we have the infrastructure to produce the conversion kits?
Even the kits. What about replacement kits? This is something that's going to take years for us to even be able to stabilize this conversation of CNG conversion. But we are talking about immediate suffering of Nigerians. Do you know that this CNG, we've been on it now since when? The Buhari government. And we are still on it. So it's not a solution. It's not an immediate solution to the problem. It's a long-term solution. So how do you give a long-term solution to a short-term problem? A problem that is existing already.
Or an immediate problem that is already...
An immediate problem, you are talking about something that could take us another 20 years.
All right. Okay. Well, thank you very much, Said Fuhad. I'll just wrap this particular conversation up with this very short, clip that we'll just listen to, and that's as regards, the concern as regards CNG infrastructure, the availability of CNG infrastructure in Nigeria. This is Trends in the Papers on Mainland 98.3 FM, and we're about to listen to Kalu Aja, is an economist, financial planner as well, and talking about the costs and if it is possible the cost of converting cars from PMS to CNG, and also the fact that is CNG is a medium-term solution or an immediate solution, or is that what we need at this time? So just very quickly, just about a minute, we'll be right back.
Compressed natural gas, that's the new hit phrase, the new wonder phrase in Nigeria. The idea, of course, being Nigeria has got gas and we have expensive PMS, so let's convert cars from using PMS to CNG, so that way we can, tide ourselves out of this very, very expensive PMS that we have. The problem really is scale. If you want to do CNG, you've got to have CNG stations, and then you've got to have that CNG go from the gas in the ground to those stations that are going to have the CNG for the retail cars. Where's the infrastructure? Even in Lagos, that is the most, should we say, cosmopolitan and most modern in terms of infrastructure in Nigeria. Where is the infrastructure? You're going to build out CNG in Ikorodu, in Ekpe, in Lukbeju. Where is the infrastructure? How are all those cars where are they going to get refueled every time they use CNG? So this is not a solution at the moment. This is a medium-term solution. We're talking 24 to 36 months or more to convert CNG. So when we're seeing this CNG thing, it looks to me like we don't have a solution, and this is the new pie in the sky. This can't be a solution to expensive PMS. It cannot be. It's a medium-term solution to convert the nation over, but it can't be a solution for today. My take.
Yeah, that's the voice. That was the voice of Kalu Aja, who's an economist and also a financial planner. And, this is just talking about the fact that everyone is now talking about, CNG and all of that. And the government looking at CNG as an alternative to PMS, especially in the wake of NNPCL yanking up the cost of PMS. You're still listening to Milan 98.3 FM. And this particular, insert that we just listened to brings us to the major headline on the front page of the Punch newspaper, which reads here. Okay, yes. Petrol price hike. Ipman tackles NNPCL and threatens to stop operations, as we have marketers accuse NNPCL of inflating Dangote petrol price. Meman continues loading subsidized PMS. So we have a serious issue in our hands now. PMS is expensive, 998 naira in Lagos, and then you have about 1,030 naira in Abuja, and of course the disparity comes with logistics and all of that. So that is the issue now. The cost of PMS is ridiculously expensive, and if we are looking at an alternative, which is CNG, which is of course also ridiculously expensive, what exactly is the solution to this fuel situation for the cost of fuel now? What is the solution? What's the way forward?
Well, the way forward has been talked about severally, Sandra. The fact that, look, we're an oil-producing nation, and that gives us a leverage, gives us an advantage over other non-oil producing nations of the world. And so the first solution is to ensure that, look, we can refine the product locally, which was, of course, what brought about this conversation around the Dangote refinery. And look, the reason why, we have to create a subsidy regime that was eventually, taken over by corruption and mismanagement was because we're not able to refine our product locally, Sandra. So there was that conversation. Remember, everybody kept talking about the need to fix our refineries. We need to start to refine locally. And while people were talking about our capacity to refine locally and they need to start to do that, is that, look, the first thing is that, look, you take away the pressure on Forex. Two, the issue of logistics, landing costs, importation, by the time you add what it takes to transport the product from wherever you're bringing it from, and of course storing it in a depot, in a tank farm somewhere, and every other thing that now requires for you to move it around the country. You understand that, look, refining locally takes away all of that. So, and then you can now begin to talk about, look, when it comes to crude oil production, can we domesticate the cost for our local refineries? Look, this idea that, look, crude oil is priced in dollars, yes, we know. But look, there are still oil producing nations in the world that price their domestic, the crude oil for domestic use based on their own local peculiarity. If you understand what I'm saying, and like I told you, if there was, Adiola Yusuf has said it severally, in our conversations, that look, the people that built the 4 refineries for Nigeria built those refineries because of a day like this, when there's going to be this problem of forex and all of that, and then you can begin to take advantage of the fact that you're an oil-producing nation, produce your coal, retain that 445,000 barrels of crude oil, Sandra, and price it to meet your own local needs and peculiarity. Must we price our own crude at the international market price? This argument will come now and then. And what we are saying, Sandra, even up to today, Sandra, why is it that we don't even have a transparent outlook and understanding a clear explanation as to how much Dangote is selling its PMS to the NNPCL?
Well,
why?
This particular report
Dangote is disputing it. Yes, it's not telling us.
This report is giving us, some sort of insight into that. The Independent Petroleum Marketers Association of Nigeria, IPMAN, has threatened to stop operations nationwide following the high cost of PMS sold to IPMAN members by NNPCL. So IPMAN reviewed that the cost of petrol from Dangote Refinery to NNPCL was 898, which was what NNPCL told us. What did
Dangote say about that? That's not that you are lying. But you tell us how much you should.
Whether it's 898 or not, but that's the figure that we've been working with, because that's the figure that NNPCL has released. But now,
that people will never trust anyway. I don't think any right-thinking Nigerian will ever trust anything coming from the NNPCL. By the number of lies they told to Nigerians.
But now IPMAN is concerned because if NNPCL is taking fuel from Dangote at 898 naira per litre, NNPC is selling that same product to independent marketers at 1,010 naira per litre in Lagos. And let's not forget, IPMAN controls 70% of the filling stations nationwide. So it is very, very important for these guys to be as comfortable as possible doing business with whoever it is that they're doing business with. So they have demanded a refund from NNPCL, saying that they cannot buy it at that amount. If nothing happens, then everybody should just go to their homes, and we're not going to buy it.
They paid for months, so if you remember, they had actually paid.
They've been waiting. They've been waiting. Yes. So, as it is now, the National Publicity Secretary of IPMAN, Chinedu Kadike, has said the association may be forced to take action if the challenge between IPMAN and NNPC is not resolved immediately. And what we have is that if NNPC bought the product from the refinery at 898 and they're asking marketers to buy it at 1,010 naira in Lagos, 1,045 naira in Calabar, 1,050 naira in Port Harcourt, 1,040 naira in Warri, the major challenge now is there's an outstanding debt from NNPC and the company is collecting products through Dangote. But I want to ask a question though. If, they have opened up Dangote to other, NNPC is no longer the sole.
They said. Okay. You see, Sandra, you have to pay attention to the fact that in Nigeria these days, especially when it comes to news and information, the things that are being said has to be checked and verified over and over again. As at yesterday when the news broke, I said, look, we need to confirm if truly NNPCL has stepped aside as the off-taker, because that was even not an official statement from the NNPCL. A report is saying, no, as of today, it is still the NNPCL that is still off-taking the product from Dangote Refinery. When it will stop, we don't know. When it has stopped, we don't know. But as of today, because even the so-called major marketers that are still buying the product are still listing it as product from the NNPCL, and that's what the IPMAN guys are saying. So it is still the NNPCL that is selling to them.
Well, There's just a lot that, just as I always say, every time we have a conversation around this oil, I just, I take steps back because everything's just a little bit muddled up at this point now. Marketers want to be fully engaged in the business of petrol and its components. NNPC has been the one bringing in the products. They have been the one loading and taking from Dangote, and the marketers are saying, yes, we are being allowed to import. There's no challenge. What we want now is we want to be able to get product directly from Dangote and not through NNPCL. And we want NNPCL to refund our money because they're owing us 50.
Go buy direct.
Yes, give us back our money. We want to go and buy direct, basically.
Let's look at this, Sandra. Maybe it will help us.
Okay.
There was a time Dangote had dropped the price of diesel, Abby.
Yes.
And then some people wrote to the president that, look, this guy is messing up with our business. All right?
Very correct.
Killing our business. He's selling for too, his prices are too cheap. It's not helping us who are importing the product into the country. Right? And Dangote told us that there was a time they reported me to the president that my diesel was too cheap. Right?
Yes.
Now, diesel jet A1, we didn't have all of this back and forth. The NNPCL was just looking at. But what they did with Dangote then was that, look, you have a very inferior product. You don't know what you're doing. We'll continue to import for energy security. And then the same NNPCL that denied that they were owing their suppliers abroad. Just as Dangote was announced that the PMS was going to eat the market, suddenly came up to say, no, we are now owing. Oh, we cannot import again. Sandra. And then suddenly, because of that, took the price from around 500 or something. And now to 800, 900, now we are at 1,000. And that you don't need any oil expert to tell you what is happening. You know that whether you like it or not, there's a conspiracy somewhere to continue to punish Nigeria. They are going to come up with all manner of ridiculous explanation now. And the more you try to understand the explanation, the more confused you get because it's deliberate. Because again, in the explanation, what you will see, if you are so discerning, you see corruption, you're going to see vested interest, you're going to see a people who will never be truthful to us, who are desperate to continue to milk and put Nigerians through untold action. And look, Sandra, I keep saying, we did not elect these guys, we did not vote for them. We voted for some people to help us fix the problem. Is that not, Sandra? We voted for some people to go into, we gave them our mandate, gave them all of the powers, both constitutional, legal, everything, to say, look, there are guys who have sat on the oil sector who are inflicting pain on Nigerians. Sir, we have voted for you. Go in there to make our lives better. Tear the cabal apart. Tear whatever they are doing apart so that Nigerians can begin to get the benefit of being an oil-producing nation. But what do we have now? Oh, there's no other way. The pain has to continue. Even where we are coming from now, what we have is even worse than where we were before. Before they were voted for. So what are we talking about, Sandra?
All right. Thank you very much for that. Well, going further, Ipman is now saying that they disagree with the fact that if NNPCL is buying from Dangote at 898 and they're trying to sell us above 1,000 naira, then it's just plain slavery. Let's buy it directly and then know that, okay, whatever we're going to sell, it won't cost up to that 1,000 naira, basically. On the contrary, major energy marketers association are saying they are not owed by NNPC as they own a large stock of storage system to mitigate any sudden changes in petrol prices. They say they have storage tanks, unlike other oil marketers. Where are they
getting their own products from?
They just said they have storage tanks, that they are good to go, so they don't have any problem.
Sandra, no, we are in an era now where we don't even know which one is Dangote product or imported product.
The one that is white,
right? Which white? So when they sell into your car, you go out. You go and check whether it's white or red. You
collect sample inside cup first and check.
No. So now everything is muddled up.
All right.
We are now in an era where what is imported is not even cheaper than the one we are producing locally. It is JᴏɪR. So there's no price. So what is the advantage of even the Dangote refinery now? So these guys have made sure and have compelled us to now understand that even we told you that even with the local refinery, nothing will change. And they are forcing us to accept that fact and reality with all the shenanigans they are doing. That's what they are trying to do, Sandra. Even we told you, if you wanted local refinery, You wanted us to stop importing. Don't worry. We'll show you pepper. You will build that refinery and nothing will change. It won't get worse. And they have succeeded in doing that.
All right. Thank you very much, Said, for 10 minutes past 8, and you're listening to Trends in the Papers on Mainland 98.3 FM. Let's move on now. That's the major headline on the front page of the Punch. We've talked about CNG, the cost of petrol, and, if there's any way forward at all, or if there's any sense that we can make out of all of the, all of the mess that's going on in the oil sector at this time, especially in the downstream sector. Moving on now on the front page of
Sandra, when will Port-Harcourt refinery work? Let's even start with that one. When?
Well, why do you keep asking me this question? Why? I've put my Shwebi aside. Please, let it go.
You're going to put it away on Sunday.
No. Maybe there's something else that's coming. I don't know. Maybe we should just be expectant. There's something huge.
Of what?
There's something huge coming.
And the people you sold their Shwebi to now, you see that you just caused trouble for them.
Well, I should do here what Christmas clothes set. Everybody just
so you've taken it away from any refinery, any home that refinery will work.
This year, I don't know. This year, I don't know, because NNPC at this point now is, there's just a lot going on.
Are we even sure we have a refinery? Do you see we have a refinery?
Fuad, we have refineries. We have refineries.
Where? In Port Harcourt.
We have refineries in Port Harcourt. We have in Warri.
We are not just living in dreams and illusion that there's still like refinery in that.
You see what this is doing to you? I think you just let it go. Stop. It's okay, because now you are in Delulu land, because we have refineries. Yes, we have refineries, and this is just unfortunate what we are going through. But hopefully one day, someday,
somebody. Will you blame me for thinking that we don't have a refinery there? Maybe we are just dreaming.
I think the more you talk about it, the more you see. Mental health is a serious issue for it. I feel like you need to take a step back and just relax. All right.
I check myself. Yesterday was mental health day, right?
Yes, it's the World Mental Health.
You see what this oil thing is causing to me now.
I'm so sorry. Take care of yourself.
I'm ready to talk like somebody who has a problem somewhere.
You're the one who tells us to take care of ourselves. But please take care of yourself. Moving on the front page of the Punch newspaper, we also have right here on the front page of the Punch, NULGE, that's the Local Government Employees Union, threatened suit over governor's bill to control local government funds. And that's on page 2 of the Punch newspaper. So the union said they won't rule out seeking a redress in court if the Anambra State Governor Charles Soludo or other governors introduce bills that will frustrate the Supreme Court judgment on direct allocation of funds to local governments. And so they've called on the President, the Attorney General Lateef Fagbemi SAN, to call Soludo to order over alleged moves to prevent local government funds from being utilized by chairmen for the betterment of the people at the grassroots. So the Anambra State Government the Anambra State House of Assembly passed the Local Government Administration Bill 2024 amid condemnation. Let's see, the bill was an attempt by Soludo, or there's allegation that the bill is an attempt by Soludo to arm twist the council chairman into paying their federal allocation back to the state.
Joint account.
Yes. That's where the conversation is. So what we have is that the bill would allow state governments to share the funds meant for local governments, all right? But then, you are required to put it back in the account, basically. So that's where this concern is coming from.
For the non-gay guys, I'm sure it's not Soludo alone. They would have to fight or to pick up a legal pass with again.
All the other governors.
But I'm sure other governors are also putting up something somewhere. It's just that it's an Anambra State government that came into the news. Remember that even the governor of your state also talked about homegrown solution. And whether we like it or not, that Supreme Court judgment is still subject to a manner of interpretation. And I think a lot of the governors would also be exploring
the locals,
their local power. For example, in Lagos, Sandra, for example, there's this battle between the State Assembly and Alimosho local government chairman. In fact, he was said that he's been suspended.
They've picked him. Okay, yes, he has been suspended.
They said there are allegations of, but people are saying that, look, does the State Assembly have the power, for example, to do that? If you are talking about the local government being independent of the state, can the State Assembly, and I was talking to Barrister Curtis and a number of lawyers, and what they are saying is that, look, there are still some part of our laws that talks about the control of the local government at the State Assembly level. And whether you like it or not, if the assembly has that kind of power, you already know that, look, we're still talking about the governors running the affairs of the local government. And that's why you see that the Senate president and even the Senate recently said that, look, the best way to ensuring proper independence of the local government is to amend our law, amend the constitution, take away all this joint accounting and every other thing that ties the local government to the state. And part of it should also be how elections are conducted into the local government. But you know that, look, to amend the constitution, you still need 2/3 of the states, about 24 states. State assemblies must agree to that amendment. And that's where the governor's powers also come in. But whether we like it or not, the backdoor attempt to want to free the local government from the state, going into the Supreme Court to get that judgment, we already know was not going to solve the problem. The best way is to find a way to amend the constitution, and that's the only sustainable solution, long-term solution to the problem. All of this is to continue to happen. Because again, the state government will also take do we have a right to even make this law? Does the state assembly have a right to make the law? Then what about the joint account? Does that ruling of the Supreme Court nullify the provisions of the Constitution that talks about a joint account? So again, a lot that still needs to be done, really, if we want to ensure proper autonomy for the local government.
All right, then. Well, it's not just Anambra State, just as Fuad had already highlighted. There are some other state houses of assembly that have also, are trying to enact this similar bills on their local government administration. We'll see how this pans out. The further details on page 2 of the Punch newspaper. We also have here, Fubara heads to Supreme Court as appeal court affirms pro-Wike lawmakers. And that's on page 19. I think we saw this coming because, just recently there was a report that the Court of Appeal, affirmed Martin Amaewhule as the recognized speaker of the Rivers State House of Assembly, and they have told Fubara to reintroduce or to represent the 2024 budget to the Martin Amaewhule-led, assembly. All right, but in an interview, the Rivers State Commissioner for Information and Communication, Joseph Johnson, criticized the judgment restoring the lawmakers that are loyal to Wike, noting that it will be challenged at the Supreme Court. So there's another level, so we'll just go a step higher, basically. So it's not ending. It's not coming to an end anytime soon. The battle continues in Rivers State. Yes, exactly. So
it will end somewhere. I mean.
Definitely.
Where it will end is all we don't know. How it will end, we don't know. Like I told you the last time, something will happen in Rivers. How that thing will happen, when it will happen,
or what that
something where it will happen, we don't know.
We don't know. It's all right.
Because again, I'm sure the people of the governor and the people are also sitting, his lawyers are going to be sitting down, looking at some other options too. Apart from even approaching the Supreme Court, you're going to be seeing people filing all manner of cases. Probably what we're going to see in Rivers State is that, look, for these 4 years of this Fubara government, is going to be what they're going to do. Because again, the politicians of that particular state have refused to behave themselves. They are not even thinking of the common good of the people of Rivers State. It's not about their own personal interest. And so at the end of the day, you're going to have a governor who's probably going to rule for 4 years without really concentrating on governance. He's going to face this battle for 4 years because we've tolerated the idea of building strong individuals and not strong institutions.
Which brings me to the question that you always ask, that what exactly is the end game for Wike? What's his purpose with all of this that he's trying to drive? What's he driving at? What's the result?
The first game is that, look, people are interested in controlling the resources of Rivers State.
Okay.
They are not going to back off. They know what it means to be in charge of a state like Rivers. So you have people who have spent 8 years who enjoyed that, complete control. They know what they got. They know what they benefited from being in charge of the resources of the state.
Now,
and like a child that has enjoyed, breastfeeding from the mother, it's always tough to take their mouth off it and begin to. So even when they have other things, they still want to be in control of that. So the first game is that, look, we have to continue to control the resources of the state. We thought we put our puppets. Why is he now revolting against us? Why is he now a rebellion against us? You understand? Why is he rebellious against us? We put him there. He was supposed to be a dummy, a puppet. He was supposed to be a yes-sir boy. Where did he get the boss to challenge the master? You know, were we not here when the local government governor was calling the governor a boy? Are we not even here when the minister of the FCC is saying that, look, they are now supporting the boy against the master? So he sees the governor as his boy. And that's just why there's still will continue to be problem in that state. So far that we don't have institutions that can rein people like Wike. So far we also don't have a president that's ready to rein him in. Because at the end of the day, whether you like it or not, we are going to get to the PDP conversation. And you understand why the president may not be able to rein Wike in. Because whether you like it or not, Wike, whatever Wike is doing now in the PDP is to the advantage of the APC and the president. The more the PDP does not have peace, is it not to the advantage of the APC? So it's not the end game for him. I think he's a man that knows that he can never be president. I'm not God, but because if you look at him, the way he's behaving, I think he's lost all hope on ever thinking of becoming the president of the country. So if I cannot get it, let us even scatter everything. And then, of course, as you hold on to the state and continue to be a governor by proxy.
All right. Thank you very much, Said. For 21 minutes past 8, and you're still listening to Trends in the Papers on Mainland 98.3 FM. Let's go now to the front page of the Guardian newspaper, where we have War Against Corruption. That's the major headline, where anti-graft eagle turns a blind eye to sacred cows. We've always had this conversation as regards, the energy that we give big thief and small thief in this country is very interesting.
I like the report. There's an acronym for them. They call them PET.
Hey.
Politically exposed person.
Yes, no,
that's the big thief.
That's what they are.
They call them PET.
The Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, was set up to curb financial crimes and tackle endemic economic crimes, brazenly lacerating the economy. But despite trillions being looted from the country's steel since the beginning of the Fourth Republic in 1999 and the harsh impact of corruption on national development, the agency, which has made a song, a dance of its commitment to exterminate corruption in the polity, has been largely used for political gains. Increasingly perceived as making a mockery of its mandate, pampering politically exposed persons, and also effectively serving as the harassment wing of the ruling party. It is, however, giving a good fight for expanding the tribe of internet scammers. So it's really unfortunate. What we have now is that billions of naira worth of contracts for infrastructural development are being awarded during fake meetings. But then we're still a developing countries with thousands of abandoned projects and all of that. But if you look deeper into all of this, what we have now is that corrupt, politically exposed persons swagger about without being timelessly brought to justice after allegedly stealing so much from the people. Many say it's a referendum of how ineffective EFCC has become, while also solidifying its new reputation as a paper lion that doesn't harm. So there's poor conviction rate of politically exposed person, which is now questioning the commitment of EFCC. We have more theatrics, we have more friendly fights where you have the white lion going to see me or arrest me, and they say, I'm too angry, please, let's arrest you another day. I'm too angry, let's arrest you another day, please. I'm not in the mood. Anyways, and then you also have deliberate... And then you have deliberate... I'm not in the mood to arrest. I'm not in the mood to arrest you, please. Just be going, please. I don't like this. This is not how it should be done. We'll do it the proper way. And then deliberate bungling of cases as well, because we have reports that, individuals, civil society organizations and other stakeholders are increasingly peeved that administration after administration has continued to treat corruption cases as a family matter. Even the SEC has routinely surrendered its independence to the ruling government while acting as if it is a subsidiary of the ruling party. So whoever is in charge controls, the narrative. And EFCC also keeping mum over poor credentials, loss of investors' confidence, reputational harm. There's just a lot, as regards.
Fantastic report from the Guardian newspaper.
From the Guardian newspaper, yes. So this reputation crisis that EFCC is going through at this time now, we wish them all of the best. But Pastor Olukoyede, promised, the high heavens, and there's just a lot of expectation that's, supposed we're.
Are you able to meet those expectations, Sandra? Disappointment? Has anything changed? The only thing we are saying is that we are seeing more convictions of Yahoo boys.
Are those the only
person?
Are those the only financially corrupt people? Or are those the only people?
So that's what we're saying, that the energy we see is directed more to that side. The big monsters look, of course, the closest example we can make now is that of Yahya Bello. A man you declared wanted, you told Interpol, everything, and came to your office and you said because he was holding hands with a man that has immunity, so you couldn't arrest him. What more can be that ridiculous as an excuse not to arrest a man that you declared wanted, told the whole international community that you see therefore arrest him, and then the man comes into your office. They say he was in the car park and so, even he was outside the gate.
They say he came with a sitting governor, so
and so because of that, because he was holding hands with that one, why not even arrest him and the sitting governor and let the governor now go and free himself in court?
Fouad,
and then they will ask him, why were you there in the first place?
Fouad, did you know that there's a magnitude of about 170 state governors that are currently, indicted one way or the other in a financial crime or the other, in the last 25 years, all right? And EFCC has only succeeded in sending to jail 5 out of 58 that they're even probing for alleged embezzlement, misappropriation,
and the 5, what has happened to the purchases of the 5?
Where's Obiano?
2. What? Wait now. No, conviction. What's it called? Joshua Dari was eventually pardoned.
He was given presidential
the Pastor Johnny Nyame was pardoned.
Yes.
Even the case of Odius Okalu was eventually free on technical grounds. Sorry?
Alamesia. Bayelsa.
Yes, Alamesia, and you know how that ended. So if you look at even the so-called 5 cases you are speaking about, what ended them? You see.
Yes.
The others have just appeared in court.
Some of them are even in
the
House of Reps at the moment as we are speaking now. So let's just move on from that. All right, Fouad. I mean, there's one of them that is in the House at the moment, isn't? Yes, there is.
So many of the governors who are standing trial are in the Senate, as we see.
Well, the stories on pages 4.
Them are in the Senate. Those ones are in the Senate are working free. Fayose, at least, is not in the Senate, but what has become of his case? Obiano is still there. His case is still going on. No closures. Most of it, like 170 to 5. Can you imagine? But look at the way Yahoo boys have been sent today.
In fact, as a matter of fact, if you drive a muscle, they'll just carry you. Let's just move on from that. But more details of that on pages 4 and 5 of the Guardian newspaper. War against corruption. Anti-graft eagle turns a blind eye to sacred cows. There's also other stories on the front page of the Guardian as we wrap things up this morning. We have here Atiku, COP, TUC, others knock Tinubu over handling of fuel subsidy. Fouad, should there be concern as regards the fact that the president has been largely silent as regards our fuel conversation or our fuel problem in the country, most notably during the October 1st Independence Day speech? There wasn't anything as regards the fuel conversation.
The same rhetoric, Sandra, is like you don't want to pay attention to what he's saying. The president has told you that there's no other way. If she still said it, I feel your pain. I wish there was any other way. The president keeps telling you that look, there's no other way. He could have addressed the economy of the country other than what he's doing. This is the only solution he has, and I think it can work for the country. And if you say he's not speaking to you, the president spoke to you when he was in China. And he said that, look, people want things free. No, we have to take these tough steps until things get... Maybe we play this out by Sandra. And so if the president is not talking now, it's because he has already told you what he wants to tell you. And you're like,
okay. It's all right. Okay, we're sorry about that.
I've said what I want to say. That's the vibe I'm getting from the president.
The story is on page 6 of the Guardian newspaper. I mean, the statement from Atiku, from TUC, from COP and others as regards the president's handling of fuel subsidy conversation. That's on page 6 of the Guardian. We also have here, reps kick against multiple tax burden on Nigerians, and that's on page 7 of the Guardian newspaper. And as we wrap things up, Vanguard newspaper has the petrol price hike conversation as well. Nasima, PDP, Atiku, CSOs and others insist on a reversal. And we have here, hike will worsen plight of businesses and households, says Nasima. PDP demands reversal of anti-people policies. Tinubu undisturbed by hardship in Nigeria, says Atiku. JAF asks Labour to provide leadership for resistance. NNPP begs Tinubu to reverse hike. Senate to intervene if, says Akpabio.
I read that if of Akpabio, Sandra.
We'll get there.
Because of time.
NNPC has no powers to increase fuel price, says Falano. Dangote economical with truth over retail price, says Petron. TUC urges federal government to create special forex scheme on Dangote. So all of these and more on page 5. So just very quickly, of course we don't have so much time, Senate President Godswill Akpabio has said the Senate will intervene in the latest hike in the pump price of petrol if need arises.
So the need does not arise?
No, it does not.
It does not go into the point where they will intervene.
No.
They are still watching.
Yes, that's it.
See, that's why I wanted you to read that if. When the need arises.
So what he said, let me just,
need is not,
because it may be that they say we are quoting him out of context. Let me just read what he said. Let me just read what he said.
Go on.
Yeah, Senator Godswill Akpabio said, and I quote, "I have not assessed what is happening in terms of pump price increase, but
he has not assessed it.
He has not assessed it. He has not checked it.
He doesn't even know.
But it is not pump price increase. It is deregulation. He has not assessed it, but
he knows it's deregulation. But he has not assessed it.
If you are taking away consumer subsidy and then you want people to pay for the actual price of what we consume, it means if you have 5 cars, you will now use 1 or 2. It simply means that you are going to stop the idea of subsidy to make sure that the monies are used for other things. I don't expect any increase in pump price. I will expect the market forces to determine prices. I will expect that now that NNPCL is no longer going to bring petroleum products into the country, it means those who have the capacity will bring it. And the more the products are available, the cheaper the price. At the beginning, it may seem to be increasing, but I believe strongly that with production from Dangote and other refineries, when they become functional, the fact that it is now open to all to bring in products into the country, I can assure you that we may not even see higher pump prices. So please, let's not dwell on increase in pump price. We will assess it. And if there's a need for us to intervene, we will. And I can just authoritatively tell you that my IQ has just dropped. And I'll just leave forward. Over to you.
You can see how, if this is coming from the Senate president, you know, the leader of the arm of government that should be performing oversight functions, that should be ensuring that things are done for the benefit of the people who have elected them to go and represent themselves. And when you read all he said, you can see the contradiction. You can see the deliberate falsehood and lie. And then, shall you see what we've been talking about? He said he has not assessed the situation, but he had a long explanation for what is happening, but he has not assessed the situation.
How did he get his explanation?
That's the question. He has not assessed the situation, but he knows it's the regulation. He knows that people are not bringing in products again, which is itself is a lie, because you are still importing. But he knows that, when there's now competition, he knows all of that. But he has not assessed the situation.
Well, we need to wrap up at this point now. We have eaten way into our commercial time. Thank you very much for your time. We'll be back for Mainland Focus very soon. Please stay tuned. This is Mainland 98.3 FM.